Welcome to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Burkeen.
3, 2, 1. We're recording. Hi, you're listening to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm your host, Lee Burkeen. Today's show is a bonus show that we're doing for the fans and for the parents and for the coaches and the high schools in the state. We're going to cover our second team, All-Louisiana Team North defense. That's right. Our second team, All-Louisiana Team North defense. Let me explain this to everybody that's listening. There's no rankings here. There's no star system. These kids are not being talked about in order of ranking or nothing like that, but it's going to be by position, defensive line, linebackers, and defensive backs. And punters. So we're going to talk about our second team, All-Louisiana Team North defense. This is not the south part of the state. This is just the north part of the state. This is from watching the kids the past 2 years, 3 years, some kids 4 years. And some kids, believe it or not, might have a kid or two in here that's been starting for 5 years. Yeah, that's right, since they're maybe 8th grade year. Some of these schools have 8th graders on their varsity team at the school. So I think it's fun. You know, it's something good to do. And you know, we can't talk all day long about each kid. So I hope the parents are appreciative that we're mentioning their kids. Again, we can't spend too much time on each player, or the show would be way too long. And we want to make sure we get everybody in. But I want to go ahead and start with our defense for the All-Louisiana Team, second team North. And also want to remind people the first team defense came out this summer in our preview magazine. It came out in late August, early September. It's also going to be connected to our second team North defense. The first team will be connected on the website through Jace. And you can't be on the first and the second team, but a lot of these second team guys could be first team guys in the end. I'm probably going to do a final team once the championship game is over. A few weeks after the championship game's over, I'm going to do like a final team review. And it'll be a smaller team, but it'll probably be the final first team that we'll do. Some of these guys, again, on the second team are almost first teamers. They've really improved a lot of these players. A lot of these kids are going to be Division I signees. Some of them are going to be 1AA signees. Some are going to be Division II signees. Some are going to be junior college signees. Just depends on the kids' grades. You know, everybody's different. Everybody has a different background as far as their GPA and ACT scores and that and so forth. Let's go ahead and talk about defensive ends, which, this is an athletic position in high school. It's a very athletic position in college, but I think there's some very underrated defensive ends in the state. Some of these guys are like buck linebackers, like at LSU, like the Arden Keys and, the Chassons. You see some of those type of players coming out of high school, maybe not as athletic, but the same kind of build and look. One of those kids I want to talk about plays at Natchitoches Central High School. He's a defensive end, actually athletic enough to be a linebacker, a buck linebacker, is Jaden Hare. Jaden is 6'6", 215 to 220 pounds. This kid is phenomenally quick, super athletic, and can do it all. And I think he runs a legit 4.6 in the 40. And if he doesn't time that, he looks it. I mean, he comes off the ball. His junior year, he had 54 tackles, almost 12 sacks, 17 tackles for loss. I'm curious to see what he's going to end up his senior season in stats. And he really just started playing football his sophomore year. His junior year was really his first year to start, and this guy's amazing. I mean, once he gets big, once he gets to about 250, 260, he's going to be phenomenal. I think the kid has a pro future. Started as a basketball player at a very powerhouse high school basketball program there at Natchitoches Central High School. known for basketball players, both girls and boys basketball. And I'm going to be talking about another defensive end for them in a few minutes. But continuing on at defensive end, I'm going to talk about Madison High School. That's right, Madison High School in the Monroe area. They have a kid named Kadarius Houston, who's 6'3", about 245, can run about a 4.79, 4.8 40, and hasn't even hit his potential yet. Has a chance to be about 260. Could actually grow into a defensive tackle and get up to about 270, 280 in college. And really an unknown. You know, Madison doesn't get a lot of attention or a lot of promotions. And probably not even talked about outside of Monroe, that area. And probably doesn't get their due in that area. But Kadarius Houston's got a chance to be a very good football player. He's a guy that might sign 1AA, could go D2, and end up D3. If he goes D3, he's going to be in a big-time football player in a small level conference there. Another player that I've mentioned on my podcast before is from Red River High School, kid by the name of Marcus Brewer. No one looks better than Marcus Brewer at this position coming out of high school. Physically gifted, all of 6'4", almost 6'5", about 230 pounds, 225, 230 in weight. Carries it really well. Looks like he's about 210. I call him a lean 230. This kid can run about a 4.65 in the 40, maybe 4.7, but looks faster than that. And he's just so gifted. I mean, once he learns the game completely, he's still raw, still a little green on the game, but his ability is off the charts. And every time I watch him play, I'm just memorized on how talented this kid could be. How talented it's all up to him. He can be as good as he wants to be in the end. And in 2019, he quietly had 75 tackles and 6 sacks. And he also plays tight end for the team. And he actually lines up as a receiver sometimes. He's so athletic. And I don't know. I think in college he could be a defensive end. He could be anything he wants to be. Again, he could be a tight end if he wants to be. But I think because of his build, the way he runs, he's a defensive guy. And I'm excited to see what happens with Marcus Brewer. I mean, he could get to 265 pounds and still run about a 4.7 in the 40, which would be remarkable. He's definitely got an SEC frame, a Southeastern Conference frame, and definitely an LSU type of player. Again, he's under the radar big time. He's the best D-line prospect to come out of Red River since Benny Logan, who played at Red River and then LSU, and then the Eagles, and then the Kansas City Chiefs. Benny Logan was pretty good. And Benny only weighed about 245, 250 coming out of high school, and then he bulked up to about 290. Played in the NFL about 290, 300 pounds. Another kid, a defensive end out of the Shreveport area, who I think has a heck of a future in football because he's very lean. He looks a lot leaner than what he is, and because he carries his weight so well, and he's got long arms, long frame, is Chartez Green from Green Oaks High School in Shreveport. He's 6'3", maybe a little taller, looks a little taller on the field, about 230 in weight. And like I said, he runs like he's about 190, which is a compliment to him. He's got so much potential. He's a kid that just started to put his weight on his senior year. His junior year, he probably weighed around a 210 range. And he could weigh up to 260, 270 and still be a DN. And I think he's probably going to go to a 1AA school. Could go to a small D1. I mean, I think ULM of Monroe would be perfect for him, or Northwestern State. If he goes to Grambling, I mean, I'm just mentioning schools locally in his area that are close. Louisiana Tech would be somebody. I don't know if they would offer him or not because of their needs or not. Sometimes these schools don't need DNs. But he's got so much potential. Chartez, he's got a lot of ability. He runs a 4.7 in the 40, looks a little faster than that. And going with another defensive end in North Louisiana, another defensive end at Natchitoches Central. Man, what a group between Jaden Hare and this kid, Furman Walker, who's 6'4", 210 pounds. again, his ability is off the charts. He might be as heavy now as 220. Long arms, runs about a 4.6 and 5 in the 40, and his ability's off the charts. Just like Jaden Hare, his teammate that's on the other side, has so much ability, so much more weight to put on his frame. And I think he's going to be a great player in college, whether it's 1AA or D2 or D1. Another kid that's come on his senior year, a big time, I think he's the biggest sleeper maybe in North Louisiana for defensive ends, is Tyrique Taylor from Huntington in Shreveport. This kid goes about 6'3", probably about 215 pounds, and he's just got it. I mean, he can run. And he's more of that buck linebacker, stand-up DN. That's a pass rusher that just gets after the quarterback just every play. I love his high intensity, his high level of competing, his efforts off the charts. His feet, I mean, he looks like he's about a 4'6". And he's a guy that's going to get up to about 230, 240 in college and be a pass rusher. And I think he could be a big-time player for a college. I think he's D1. And he might slip to 1AA. Another player that's on this list, because of his athletic ability and also because of his effort, he's chiseled and super strong. Stephon Brakefield from Woodlawn of Shreveport. 6 foot, about 240, runs about a 4.7 in the 40. Stephon is a football player. You know, he's not a measurable guy, but, man, when you look at him, he's chiseled, he's strong, he's college strong, and I think he would make a great 1AA defensive end or could move to Mike linebacker. But I think he's an edge rusher, more for the 1AA level because he's not super tall, but he's very, very strong. Another defensive end that's really moving up the charts, in my opinion, and I think he's D1, from Bastrop, Louisiana, Baron Martin. That's B-A-R-O-N Martin. He is phenomenal. This guy plays the run like a linebacker off the edge. He's a great pass rusher. He's super strong. And he goes about 6'1", about 240, 245 in weight. And I think he's D1. I do. He's one of those guys that's not 6'2", that's just different. He's different because he's strong, college strong. He's quick. He gives high effort. He can go on the edge, and he can run laterally and make sideline-to-sideline plays. I've seen him do it time after time. He's got a lot of talent. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to stay on the defensive line. We're going to talk about defensive tackles for our all-North Louisiana second team in Louisiana. You're listening to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm Lee Burkeen, your host. We'll be right back with much more. Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City. Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen. Today we're going over our second team defense, North Louisiana team, and we're talking about the defensive line. And continuing with our defensive line, the first segment was our defensive ends. This is going to be our defensive tackles and nose guards. And we're going to start with a young man from West Ouachita High School in Monroe, Devin Butler. Devin is one of those guys that runs about a 5'1" in the 40. He's 5'11", about 270, and he's different. You know, he's not a 6-foot guy, 6'1" or 2", like most of these D tackles you want for D1. But actually, Devin could be a defensive end for the right school. I love his effort. I love his tenacity. I love his strength. And like I said, for the past 3 years, I've watched this kid at West Ouachita, and he's just a different guy. You know, he's just a strong kid. He gives high effort. And I think he's college strong. Would definitely be a great 1AA defensive tackle and probably get up to about 275 or 280. Continuing on for defensive tackles is a kid by the name of Trent Patterson from Airline High School in Bossier City, Louisiana. Trent Patterson is a legit 6'1", about 260, maybe 265, depending on, you know, what he ate that week. I mean, he stays in shape. He's always been around 260, 265, and he's relentless. He's been a starter for 3 years for Airline in a very tough district there in Shreveport, in that Bossier City area. I love his feet. I think he moves super well. I think he moves like a middle linebacker. He plays the run extremely strong. He's built for D1. Very underrated Trent Patterson. Trent has got a great future ahead of him, whether it's at the D2 level, 1AA, or maybe a small D1 might recognize his talents like I do in the end. Continuing on, a kid that's intriguing, that goes to a small school in North Louisiana, Lakeside High School, Jaylen Jackson. I've had a chance to see this kid the last couple of years. Jaylen's 6'2", about 280, maybe 285. Long arms, lean. Yeah, that's right, lean for a 285-pound kid. Carries his weight really well. And he can run. And he plays hard. He plays the run. He's a pass rusher. He's the biggest sleeper maybe in the North Louisiana for D tackles. His favorite player growing up in high school was Ray Lewis, not a bad guy to admire from the Baltimore Ravens, former Miami Hurricane linebacker. In 2017, when he was a freshman, he was 6'2", 260, and could run about a 4'8". Currently, he squats about 400 pounds, between 4 and 410. I think somebody's going to get a steal with Jaylen Jackson. Somebody's going to get a steal. I think he's D1, but he might not be recognized for that. He might end up going 1AA, and if he does drop to someone like Northwestern State or Grambling or Nichols or Southern, I'm telling you, this guy's a diamond in the rough. He's legit. Don't just recruit kids because certain schools they go to. Lakeside's a small school, but this guy's a big fish in a small pond. Continuing on, a defensive tackle that I love. He might have to start junior college. If not, he might end up going 1AA or D2. He's a kid by the name of Demarcus Clark at Rayville High School. Demarcus runs about a 5'2" in the 40. He's 6'2", about 290. He can play just about every technique from nose guard to D tackle, could maybe even play DN in certain 3-4 schemes. There's not much fat on this kid. I'm very impressed how he holds his weight, how he moves, and he gives a lot of effort. He's a sleeper. He's a big-time sleeper, and he's been a 3-year starter in North Louisiana. Remember that name, Demarcus Clark from Rayville High School. If he goes junior college, he's going to be a great player if he chooses to go junior college. Might have to get his grades up a little bit. He can bench about 275, squats about 370, power cleans about 230, and grew up liking Chase Young, Ohio State, Warren Sapp of the Buccaneers. Big-time player. Another kid that I love a lot. I think he's got great feet for a big guy. At Cedar Creek High School, a kid by the name of Trace Barnett. Let me tell you something, folks. He's one of the most improved linemen in North Louisiana. He goes about 275, about 6'1", and could be a DN, a D tackle, or a nose guard. On the offensive line, he had 36 pancakes his junior year. And he's undecided on his major, but he's a 550 squat in the weight room, power cleans 260, and also throws the shot put for his track team. His favorite player growing up is Cameron Jordan from the Cal Berkeley Bears and New Orleans Saints. Trace Barnett has the tenacity and the feet to be D1. I think he's D1. I think he's a D1, D tackle, or DN. He is relentless on the field. Him and this kid, Ben Merchant, who's 6'5", 330, they make a great duo on the D-line. They make this one of the better D-lines in the smaller schools in North Louisiana. Remember that name, Trace Barnett. Another kid I love a lot is a defensive tackle from Monroe out of Richwood High School, Jacoby Singleton. Jacoby goes about 6'1", about 270, 265. I think he would be a steal for the 1AA level. Here's why. Great feet, high effort. When you weigh that and you give a lot of effort, you got really good feet. And it shows. He power cleans 290, squats 450, bench presses 285. And he says he's looking for a college that not only helps him grow, but as a student athlete. I love his attitude about that. He enjoys hanging out with friends and family, which I think is also a great thing to mention for hobbies. Great player. We're going to go ahead and talk about nose guards. Nose guards on the D-line, they're hard to find. These are guys that are really the bigger guys. And these are the guys that have trouble keeping their weight down. But a lot of these guys that have good feet, they're under the radar, a few of these guys I have. But a guy that really sticks out to me the last 3 years, especially the last 2 years, is in North Louisiana and Shreveport, C.E. Byrd High School's William Anderson. William is one of the reasons why Byrd has a chance to win a state championship this year. He's 6'1", 311 pounds of muscle. Has really good feet, gives high effort. He's actually quick enough to be just a regular D tackle. And I think he's got a chance to be a D1 player. He throws the shot put almost 40 feet on the track team, which is impressive. He squats a little over 400 pounds, and he runs about a 5'3" in the 40. His hobbies are video games and watching Netflix. A smart kid, too. Very smart. And another nose guard in the Shreveport area that I love a lot is Tony Lynn. 6 foot, 290 to 300 pounds from Booker T. Washington in Shreveport. Tony Lynn gives high effort every play. He's a nose guard. Strong kid. Squats 500 pounds, benches 315. When not playing football, Lynn enjoys playing basketball and playing video games. He's the strongest player on the team in the program. He's also the center on offense, besides playing D tackle. Another intriguing kid I like in Shreveport. Man, Shreveport's got a lot of nose guards. Tardarius London from Mansfield High School goes about 6'3", about 320, depending on what week, about 320 to 330. And he's very raw, meaning he has a lot of skill left to be untapped. He's close to 6'4" in height. In the weight room, he benches 315 pounds and squats 400. The Mansfield High School D tackle, nose guard, he likes LSU a lot, McNeese. And Louisiana Tech, ULL, and ULM. And here's a great hobby. When he's not playing football, London enjoys riding horses. Sort of like Devin White. Remember North Webster High School and LSU? Just loves horses. And it's a big old guy that can move. Very underrated. Another nose guard in North Louisiana from Rayville High School is Glendarius Wilson. 6'2", about 320. They've got a really good D-line at Rayville High School. His good feet starts on both the offense and defensive line for his team. I think he's a big-time sleeper. Moves really well for a big guy. Rayville's got some good football players, man. They don't get the exposure or attention they deserve. That's why I talk about all these teams. I see all these teams play. These are not just makeup players. These are legitimate players that I want to share with everybody. When we take a break, we're going to talk about linebackers when we come back. Some big-time linebackers in the state of Louisiana for North Louisiana. Our second team, all-Louisiana team, North defense. Some of these guys are going to be on our first team when we do a final first team a few weeks after the state championship game. I'll have a final first team defense and offense for North Louisiana. We'll be right back. Looking for a used car? Harvey Autos has 3 dealerships, which means 3 times the used vehicles. They've got everything from fuel-efficient compacts to luxury models, even hybrids, and certified pre-owned with a warranty. Check out John Harvey Toyota, Harvey Subaru, or Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City. Welcome back. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. I am Lee Burkeen with Louisiana Sports. You know, I'm doing so many shows this week, I'm trying to remember what my name is. I'm Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I hope everybody's having a great day on Tuesday. It's getting cold all over the state. I kind of like it this way. I like a little cold. I was not liking the sun. I mean, we got the sun for right, summer and spring. Love the cold weather, you know. Love Christmas coming up, and can't believe it's almost Christmas. Wow. Continuing on with our second team, all-Louisiana team, North-only defense. We're going to talk about linebackers. And a kid that I like a lot who plays defensive end for his team because they don't have a lot of big guys. They need him at DN, but I think he's a middle linebacker, is a guy at Loyola Prep in Shreveport, Sam Swizik. Sam is all of 6'2", about 220 in weight. He's relentless, man, off the edge. We did a write-up on him. Jace Lejeune did during the season. I told Jace, I said, interview this kid, Sam. He's deserving of it. His dad played football at LSU, was a walk-on D lineman back in the 80s from actually Woodlawn High School of Baton Rouge. His dad's from Baton Rouge. And Sam is the kind of kid that can put on another 10 or 15 pounds and still be able to run really well. He runs about a 4.7 in the 40. But he's relentless off the edge as a DN. And you know, just in size, he's going to be a linebacker. He's a Mike linebacker. He squats 365 pounds in power cleans. Get this, 250. He does have an offer from a small school, an NAIA school named Hendrix College. I think he's way better than that. No offense to Hendrix College. But I think he's a 1AA guy as a linebacker. If you could see and forecast the future, you got to think outside the box with kids. You got to see where they really go and not where you see them play in high school. You play in high school sometimes where you're needed, not so much where you're going to play in college. When Swizik is not playing football, he's also a baseball player for the high school. He's looking for somebody that will give him a chance to play and has a good campus, good academics, as well as athletics. Continuing on, another big-time Mike linebacker I really like a lot. For the last 4 years at Union Parish in the Ruston area, Spencer Sinsley. This guy's a man-child, 5'11", 220. He plays like he's 280. He runs like he's about 190. He's chiseled. He's a big old guy. He's almost about 225 now. He's a 4-year starter, runs a 4.7 40. He plays DN for his team, again, where they need him. And every time I watch this kid, he takes over a game. He just takes over a game. He will convert to middle linebacker, like I said, in college. Or if he goes to a small college, like a 1AA or D2, he might stay a DN. Southern and UL are his favorite colleges. You know, he wants to be around a safe environment and getting to business, to a business school, which is good. He squats 450 pounds, power cleans 265 in the weight room, and runs a legit 5'1" in the 40. Super strong, super tough kid. Super strong and tough kid. Another kid that I've liked the last couple of years, and has played 3 years at Airline High School in Bossier City, is a kid by the name of Fred Manning. He's 6 foot, about 210. 205, plays a little bigger. His long arms got the frame to be about 230 in college. He's on this list because he's a football player. Might not be the biggest, might not be the fastest, but he does a great job of diagnosing and going after the ball on every play. He's a sleeper for 1AA and D2. I think you'd make a great leader for a college. Doesn't run a fast 40, about a 4.8, but he looks about a 4.6. He makes up for it with instincts and football speed. In his junior year, he had 70 tackles, 2 forced fumbles. He likes LSU and Oklahoma State, Kansas, Alabama, TCU. Now, he might not get offered by any of those, but he does like those schools. He benches 265 pounds and squats, get this, 450 at 205 pounds. Another kid that's a good player that I think's at a small school, caught my eye, I think he's a phenomenal player, is Udonis Jones from Lakeview High School, a small school, not far from the Natchitoches area, or Alexandria area, up in those areas, is a starting tight end and linebacker for his high school. I saw this kid a lot in 19. He's 6'1", about 230. I think he could be at a D1 school. I really do. He had 114 tackles in 219. He probably has almost that this year. He's open to colleges. Said he'll go anywhere to play ball, just to have a chance to play ball. Continuing on at linebacker, another kid from Union Parish. Man, Union Parish has a heck of a defense. Cam Crow. K-A-M Crow. C-R-O-W. 5'10", about 210 pounds. Plays like he's 6'4", about 240. I think Cam Crow's a big-time football player. He's a guy you don't go by measurables. You go by watching the tape. He has D1 stuff. But D1 schools don't take chances on 5'10", 210. A lot of them don't. The smart ones do. You have to watch this kid to know what I'm saying. I saw it in 3 different games as far back as 2018. Cam has 4.6 40 speed. He's got credible instincts. He finishes tackles. He could play outside linebacker. He's played DN for his team. He's a pass rusher. He's a run stuffer. He had 49 tackles and 4 sacks in 2019. Get this, he benches. He's one of the strongest small players in North Louisiana. He benches 335 pounds, squats 500, power cleans 275. His favorite NFL player is Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks, who played at Utah State. Not a bad guy to like. His goal is to win a state championship this year, and they have a chance to do it. I didn't pick them, but, man, they could do it. They could. Continuing on at Mike linebacker is a kid from Houghton High School, not far from Bossier City. Dylan Turner. Dylan's on this list because he's a football player. Dylan's 6'2", about 210, maybe 215. Just tough. Man, he reads, got a high IQ of the game. And he runs a 4.8 40. He looks a lot faster than that on the field because he's got great instincts and he knows football. I love his toughness. In 2019, Dylan Turner had 85 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, an interception, a fumble recovery, and even scored a touchdown. He's got a lot of ability. In the weight room, he benches 300 pounds, which is impressive for a guy about 215. He squats 405. Power cleans 275. His favorite player in the NFL is Dallas Cowboys' Leighton Vander Esch. He's had some injury problems for the Cowboys, played at Boise State. His goals for the upcoming season are to impact his team any way he can. And he has done that again. Help his team win a lot of games this season, which he's done. That Halton's in the playoffs, and they got a chance to win a lot of games. Who knows? They could be a state championship team in the end. Another kid that I like from a small high school in Shreveport, from North Caddo High School. North Caddo doesn't get the exposure they deserve, is a guy by the name of Trey Hurd. He could be a big-time – if he was at a 5A school, he would be an all-state linebacker. Trey is about 6 foot, about 235. He might start at a junior college. If not, he's probably a D2 guy or might sit out at a 1AA school. He's definitely got D1 talent. What I like about Trey is his speed and his effort. He's 4.65 in the 40 at 235, which is moving. He had 2 interceptions last year, to give you an idea, for a big guy. Had 96 tackles. This was in 2019. He squats 400 pounds. His favorite school is LSU. He grew up liking Devon White at LSU in the Buccaneers. Besides his love for LSU, he's waiting on his first offer. He's willing to play for anybody that gives him a chance. I love this quote that he gave us. I'm looking for a great education, coaches, team chemistry, in a place that feels like a little bit like home. He plans on majoring in sports medicine. Smart kid. His goals were to be all-state this year, 100-plus tackles, and win a district championship and get to the playoffs. He's getting into the playoffs. I don't know his stats. I think he was close to 100. Big-time player, big-time leader. Another linebacker that I like a lot is Joshua Harris from Green Oaks in Shreveport. Goes legitimately 6 foot tall, 225 pounds. Big, strong kid. Very tough kid. You know, he grew from 5'10 to 6 foot, from 215. Now he's almost 240. Will start off at a junior college, probably. Has a chance to be a big D1 player. Very strong. They call him Tank. Well, I call him Tank, by the way. He benches 350 pounds, squats 425, runs a 4.7 40. And he wants to play for Tyler Junior College to get his grades in order and be a good player and sign in 2 years with a D1 school. He's got some of the biggest arms in the state of Louisiana. This guy's chiseled. He wants to go into mechanical engineering one day. When he's not playing football, his hobbies is working out. Big-time player, man. I'm telling you, this guy's he's a specimen. To continue on, another kid that I love a lot. I think he's got a lot of ability. He's not a measurable guy. But, man, he's such a good football player. Plays defensive end for his team at Minden High School. Javonte Morris, 5'10". About 5'10 and a half, about 240. Plays like he's 6'6", 300. What I love about this kid, he's got great feet. He's got the feet of an outside linebacker. He's got the pass rush of a huge kid. He's relentless off the edge. This guy's relentless. I think he would make a great middle linebacker. Just switch him to the middle line. They need him at DN at Minden. Spencer Hurd needs him there, and he's actually a great player. He's the jersey number 1. And I think he'd make a great middle linebacker, and I think he's D1. I do. Heck, Devin White was only 6 foot tall. He's built like a Devin White. He's chiseled, man. Super strong. Benches over 340. And like I said, runs about a 4.7 in the 40. And look, this guy's 240 pounds, 5'10". He's 4.7 at 240 is rolling, man. Continuing on, North Caddo has another linebacker, Charze Morris. Plays running back, too, for them. He's a raw kid, great athlete, still learning the game. He can bench 265, squat 405. His favorite school growing up is TCU. I think he's good enough to be a D1 player. He's a sleeper, diamond in the rough, I think. North Caddo's got some good football players, man, around Shreveport. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about outside linebackers. We're going to stay in the linebacker position. We've got a few great sleeper linebackers in the state. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm your host, Lee Burkeen. We'll be right back. So, hey, guys, just wanted to take a minute to tell you about Harvey Autos. If you need a new or used car, there's 3 great dealerships right here worth checking out. John Harvey Toyota, Harvey Subaru, and Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City. Low prices, honest people. Tell them Lee sent you. Welcome back. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. I am Lee Burkeen, your host. Today we're talking about the all-North Louisiana team, second team. We're going to talk about linebackers. We're also going to talk about defensive backs later in the show, and also punters. We might have a punter. Sometimes we don't have one. If we don't have one, we won't talk about them. But linebacker, outside linebacker, these are the guys that can run the fastest, can cover ground outside. Your Mike linebackers are what we just talked about. Those are the bigger guys inside that play the run more. So if you can get a great linebacker that can cover the pass, you got an NFL guy. Very few can do that. But the outside linebackers are guys that can play the pass. They can make plays outside and leave the inside to the Mike linebackers. But I want to start with Dante Strawder, who's a super big-time sleeper at Mangum High School. That's right, number 13. His jersey's number's 13. He played at 185 pounds in 2019. He runs a 4.6 in the 40. He's now 205 with 4.6 speed. Plays up as a DN for the team because that's where they need him. He's a 3-year starter. He's had a really good year. In 2019, he had 40 tackles. He's also on the basketball team as a player on the basketball team. He's also a center fielder in the baseball team. Very athletic guy. Seen him play this year, man. He grew up like in Alabama. In the weight room, he benches 245 and squats 415. Another outside linebacker that I like a lot is at Haynesville, Jontavian Brown. Here's a kid that's about 6 foot, about 190. He's really like a big DB, but he's going to be about a 200-pound, 210 outside linebacker in college. He's all over the field. He runs about a 4.65 in the 40. He played fullback, running back, linebacker, and safety in 19. Man, he was everywhere for his team. The Golden Tornadoes, as they call them in Haynesville. He said he's looking for a college that makes him feel at home. He wants to major in welding technology and can squat 305 pounds. He likes to fish in the off-season when he's not playing football. He grew up a big Ohio State fan. He loves Justin Fields, the quarterback, and Chase Young, who's now with the Redskins. His goal for the season is to bring another state championship home to Haynesville, the Golden Tornadoes. What a great program. I didn't pick them to win it this year, but, man, I love the program. I really do. If they can get it to the Dome this year and win it all, it'll be one of the greatest stories in the state of Louisiana. Continuing on for Faraday, speaking of state champions in 2019, they have a linebacker named Brondrick Hawkins. It's Brondrick Hawkins with a D or I-C. 6'1", 230. I've been watching this kid for 4 years. He's the reason they're going to have a chance to win another state championship this year. Man, he's flying under the radar. He runs a 4.69 in the 40. Looks faster than that. He's also a basketball player, averages 10 points a game, 10 rebounds a game in basketball last year. He's a tough kid. Has great instincts, can run. He loves working out in off season with his teammates Dare Rosenthal, who's at LSU. He's currently the starting offensive tackle. And like I said, he's a great basketball player, power forward, man. And he can bench 245, squat 400. And growing up, he's a big fan of LSU. Hopefully they'll maybe see a sleeper linebacker. They definitely need him. Speaking of linebackers, outside linebackers, a kid at Franklin Parish that I think is a great football player. Franklin Parish used to be called Winsboro High School. It's in the town of Winsboro. It's where Booger McFarland played for LSU. He's now on TV with ESPN. Terence Richardson. Here's a kid that's a 4-year starter, 6 foot, about 215 pounds, and he can move. Very underrated, people, very underrated. Terence is a diamond in the rough that plays running back. He's played DN. He's played linebacker. And he runs about a 4.6, 540, benches over 300. I think he's a great athlete. I think he's going to weigh about 230 in college, and I think he can play D1. He's got great instincts. He's tough, man. When he tackles you, it's over. When we come back, we're going to talk about cornerbacks, defensive backs on the second team, all-Louisiana team, North defense, North Louisiana only. which is the areas of Alexandria, Natchitoches, Shreveport, Bossier City, Monroe, West Monroe, Ruston, and everything in between, all the way to Faraday, Vidalia areas. We'll be right back. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Parents, are you looking for advice on getting your high school athlete recruited by the right college? Lee Brackeen is your answer. Lee has been doing it for over 30 years. He knows the ropes, and more importantly, he knows the people. Lee offers turnkey service from evaluation, creating highlight tapes in the correct format, and complete guidelines for effective communication with the schools. No matter the sport, girl or boy, no matter what grade your child is in, let Lee Brackeen help match your child to the right college fit. Go to our website, lafootballmagazine.com, and get connected today.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Scouting Report. I am Lee Brackeen, your host. I'm so glad to join you today on a Tuesday. I hope everybody's having a great day. We're talking about the second team, all Louisiana team North defense. This is not rankings. This is just recognizing guys that are sleepers that could go maybe D1 or 1AA, D2, or some are going to go junior college. Some might go to prep schools. We're going to continue on with cornerbacks, the most athletic spot in the defensive backfield. We're going to talk about safeties later in the show, but right now we're going to talk about cornerbacks. A kid that I've seen the last 3 years from Menden High School is Jacorian Greenyard. He's 5'10", 175 pounds. He's just a football player. He reads, he reacts, his great instincts. He's got long arms. He's tough. He plays the run. He plays the pass. What else do you need? He's a great tackler. He's a student of the game. Runs about a 4.55 in the 40. Looks faster than that. And I think he's a D1 corner. I really do. Because it's hard to find a guy that'll play the run at corner. A lot of these guys that play corner, they don't like to play the run. They just like to play the pass. You know, kind of like Deion Sanders did, which is okay. He's a Hall of Famer, but he didn't like to play the run. Another corner who you would think is 6'5", 200 pounds, but he's only about 5'8", 160. One of the best players in the Alexandria area at Pineville High School, Chris Holmes. I think he's overlooked in recruiting. Has great speed, 4'5", and what I love about him, his tenacity playing the run. And he's a man cover guy. He'll get in your face. This guy thinks he's about, like I said, he thinks he's 6'5". I love that mentality. He faces a ton of wide receiver talent every week and wins a lot of battles. You know, he has to play Alexandria High School. He has to play Tioga. Those are two teams that put up basically over 8,000 yards of offense between the two of them every year. And they also play West Monroes of the world and the Rustons of the world. And last year he had 30 tackles and an interception. He hasn't received a scholarship offer, but his dream school, he grew up loving the Texas Longhorns. He plans on majoring in agriculture and natural resources. Very smart kid. He's also a track guy where he runs the 4x100 relay in the weight room. Get this. Squats 325 pounds at 160 pounds. When he's not playing football, he loves working out. Continuing on at cornerback, a kid that's really come on this year. I think he's a first-team guy at the end of the year. I think he's one of the best big corners. I think LSU should be offering this kid. Is a guy by the name of Zavion Mandigo at Captain Shreve High School. He's 6'2", 190. This is his first year really to shine. I mean, last year was his first year to really play football. I'm talking about a guy that runs a 4.5 in the 40 that's tall and long and going to be about 200 pounds, and he plays man defense. He's really good. He's had one of the best senior seasons of any corner I've seen in Louisiana, and I'm telling you, everybody I've watched. Remember that name, Zavion Mandigo. He might be the next NFL DB that no one recruited in Louisiana D1. Maybe Louisiana Tech will do it. Tech's always getting these DBs that LSU's not getting, that they're not looking at hard enough in the state. Another corner that I think's got a lot of ability. He was more of a receiver his junior year. The Texas native Quincy Jones at Parkway. That's right, Parkway High School in Bossier City, Louisiana. Quincy is a super smart kid. I've talked to him on the phone. He's from San Antonio, Texas. Moved to Louisiana, to Bossier City. His dad, Quincy Jones Sr., is on the football staff. Despite his injuries in 2019, he had 5 touchdown grabs as a receiver. I think he's settled in as a great corner. He likes Auburn and A&M and Tennessee. Wants to major in sports medicine. He loves basketball and running track. His favorite NFL players are Jerry Jeudy, Stephon Diggs in the NFL, and he can squat 415 pounds. It's pretty impressive since he only weighs 180. And look, he's 6'3", and he's long. He's like 6'6" in length, and he'll play man. He'll play the run now. He's really become a great corner. He was really just a receiver in 19. He's a sleeper. He's a big guy that can play corner, 6'3". It's hard to find those 6'3" corners. They've got a 6'4" corner starting for South Carolina right now from Parkway High School that's going to be in the NFL. Continuing on at corner, a very underrated kid at Alexandria High School, C.J. Keatling. Remember this name. He's about 5'11", about 160. Runs a 4.5, plays the run, really tough kid. I like him a lot. And also, Melvin Brantley is a new kid to watch on the recruiting list. He's had a breakout senior year. I've seen him play this year. He didn't even play last year. He's 6'1", about 175. He's tough. He could be a nickel corner. He could be a strong safety when he grows into his frame. Remember the name Melvin Brantley. He's under the radar. He's definitely 1AA. I think he's D1 talent. And then another new guy at Bastrop that's really come on his senior year is cornerback Marquise Crowder, who's 5'10", 170. When we come back, we're going to talk about safeties. There's a lot of good safeties in the state. For our second team, All-Louisiana team defense in North Louisiana. You're listening to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm Lee Burkeen, your host. We'll be right back. Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. Welcome back. You listen to the Sports Scouting Report. I'm Lee Burkeen, your host. We're talking about the second team, All-Louisiana team, North defense. This is not South. This is just North Louisiana. No rankings, no star system, just talking about the kids and having another team. We had our first team defense this summer in our magazine. It's also on our website, which that'll be attached to this team when Jace puts it up. It's actually up right now. This Friday, we're going to put the South Louisiana team up, Jace, Lejeune, Will Forrest, of guys I've seen play in South Louisiana. That's Lake Charles down. Continuing on with our defense, we're going to talk about safeties. And I like a kid at Carroll High School in Monroe by the name of Derrick Connor. Derrick's 6'1", about 190. And what I like about Derrick, he's a 4-year starter. And they didn't have any size on their defense. He had to play linebacker. He basically almost had to play D-line. They were short on guys up front. And he impressed me how he handled that. And that's not where he's going to play in college. He's really a free safety or a strong safety. Or he could be an outside linebacker and get up to about 210. He's very lean. 4'6" and a 40. But I love just watching him on film this year, how he played linebacker, which is not his spot. He almost played on the D-line the way he lined up. I mean, Carroll just didn't. You got to take your hat off to the coaches at Carroll. They didn't have much size on their team on defense at all, and they made it happen. They made it work. Another kid at free safety, I think he's big time, is J.T. Stevens at Cedar Creek. I tell you, the guy is all of 6'2.5", 6'3", about 210, 205. He's a two-way starter for the last 3 years for Cedar Creek. As a receiver and a DB, he's returned some kickoffs. He's a tough kid, and he's very instinctive. I love JT's game. I think JT's an SEC safety. I really do. If he gains some weight, he could be a bumper pull, just like the kid at Arkansas from Texas, the linebacker bumper pull. He's about 6'2", about 225. If this kid gains another 15, he could be that kind of guy. He's not getting SEC attention, which doesn't shock me because we've got so many good players in Louisiana. Continuing on, another great player from the Grambling, Louisiana area, Lincoln Prep, used to be Grambling High School, Jaden Tatum. Here's a guy who's just a football player, about 6'2", about 170. What I like about Javian is he's the poster boy for late bloomers. He's played quarterback, DB, kicker, receiver, outside linebacker for his team. He's played everywhere. He's athletic, he's smart, he's tough. He's going to gain a lot of weight. He runs a 4.5 in the 40. He's very, very good football player. He squats 325 pounds, and he's attracted the attention of local college, Grambling College. And it wouldn't shock me if he ends up at Grambling. He says, quote, "I would like to attend Grambling, but what I'm looking for in a college is a good educational program, good athletics, and, of course, a college I can call home," Tatum said. He could play multiple sports. He's a baseball player at the school. He's a track guy. He's a basketball player. He likes hanging out with his friends as a hobby when he's not playing sports. But I like this kid a lot as a free safety. Continuing on at free safety, a sleeper at a small high school in the Faraday, Vidalia area from Delta Charter is a kid by the name of Kenneth Hollins. Big-time football player. Diamond in the rough. 6'1", about 180. Plays receiver for his team. Plays DB. Plays everywhere. Really a linebacker for them. Can run about a 4.6. Looks faster. Another kid that I really love a lot that's a quarterback for his team at Manny High School is Jacorius Roane. He's got a chance to win a state title this year for his team. He's a quarterback, but I think he's a free safety. Jacarius is 6'1", almost 6'2", about 190, 195, and does everything you ask from him for Coach Jess Curtis. Big time under the radar guy. He's a great athlete. He's really an extension of their running game. He can also be a receiver. He's nicknamed Cadillac is his nickname, has the keys. He's very explosive. And on offense in 19, he accounted for 1,300 yards. On defense, he had 2 interceptions last year. He's received offers from Southern and Northwestern State, Air Force, Dartmouth, New Mexico, Army, Navy, Southern, and ULM. He also likes LSU a lot, and Ohio State, Clemson, and Texas. And he's committed to ULM currently. He said the program is on the rise. They have great coaches and players. I have a couple of teammates that I played with in high school up there, so it just felt like it will be more comfortable there. In the weight room, he benches about 215, squats about 390, and like I said, he plays basketball and also runs track and plays baseball for his program. I think Coach Viatar is getting a great player if he signs with ULM of Monroe, a great player from Manny High School. Another kid that I like, and he's really on this team because he gives it everything he's got. He's the top player on their team on defense, is Kaden Ingles from LaSalle around Alexandria. He's a 4-year starter. He's a leader. He's tough as nails. He's played quarterback. He's played receiver. He's played outside linebacker. He pretty much does everything for LaSalle. 67 tackles last year, 2 interceptions. I mean, this kid's a Swiss Army knife because of his versatility. His favorite school growing up is LSU. In track, he runs an 11 flat 100 meters. Throws the javelin as well. Continuing on at safety, at strong safety, by the way, Kaden Ingles, I think, is a strong safety. Strong safety is Jaylen Brown from Pineville High School. I think he's the best player on the team for recruiting. He's 6'1", 185. He's a senior. A 3-year starter in 220. runs a 4.6, plays linebacker for the team, and he is a hitter, man. He's instinctive. He reads really well. He's got great size, and I just think he's a great steal for a 1AA D1 school. Remember the name, Jaylen Brown, great player from Pineville High School in the Alexandria area. Another strong safety I like a lot is Jaberius Jefferson, another one of those guys at Faraday High School that's got a chance to lead them back to a state title this year. 4'6" guy that looks 4'5", plays outside linebacker for Faraday. They're not big, but where they are big is they've got guys that are really jumbo athletes that play bigger positions because they don't have a lot of size. And where they do have size, they don't have a lot of it, but when they do have linemen, those guys can run too. And like this kid Jefferson, he can run and he can hit. All these Faraday guys are tough kids. They all play the run and pass. That's why they're so good. Another safety that I like a lot out of Shreveport, out of Northwood High School, is Jadarius Berry. Man, this guy's 5'8", about 185, but he hits like a Mack truck. Had 89 tackles in 19, 1 interception, blocked 2 punts, and had 6 sacks. I think he's a D1 guy. He's different. You know how some guys are just different? They're not measurables. They just can play the game and can run, and they can do it all. That's this kid. Another kid that's come on his senior year that I think's really improved a lot at Huntington and Shreveport is Kenneth Richman, 6 foot 180. He covers a lot of ground. And what impresses me about Kenneth, he's put on some good weight. He's now looks like a football player, and he plays the run. He comes up, he rushes the passer, he does it all in the box. More of a linebacker for them. Another big-time player that's under the radar at West Monroe High School is Josh Cobbs. Josh goes about 6'1", about 195, and can run. And he's tough. I love how he plays the run. He's in a great secondary. That's the strongest position on the team at West Monroe this year is their talented secondary. All their guys in the secondary can play college ball. Usually it's linebackers at West Monroe. This year it's DBs. Continuing on, a sleeper at Ruston High School that I think could play for Tech is Jamarion Reed, 6 foot 180, that can cover a lot of ground. He's very fluid, has good hips, and really more of an outside linebacker for them, but I think he's a safety in college at strong safety, closer up, less open field to cover, and he's got a lot of ability. He's going to be a bigger kid in college. Another kid that's on this team basically because he's a football player is Logan Wilkerson from Houghton High School. He's 5'10", about 185, 190. He's a big-time leader. He's a big-time IQ of the game. He's a coach's son and runs great routes as a receiver also. I think he's a D2 guy. He could walk on 1AA and be a starter, I think. I really do. He likes a lot of schools in state. He just wants a chance. He wants an opportunity. And he says, quote, I want to look to see if they have what I want, major in, and if it's an overall great school, I'll go anywhere to play football. He's also a baseball player, really good baseball player for Houghton. And in the weight room, he benches 260, power cleans 250, and get this, squats 450. Another strong safety that's really under the radar guy in North Louisiana at Southwood High School, a kid that's come on this year, I think, heavily to me, is Draches Haney, 6'1", 190. I think he's D1. Has the tools. He plays linebacker for his team because they don't have a lot of size. He plays where they need him. He runs about a 4.59 40. He's very instinctive. And he's got a lot of length, meaning he's got a lot of long arms and long legs to gain a lot of weight. And maybe be an outside linebacker in college. Maybe stay at safety. I really like this kid. He had a torn meniscus injury in 19 that cost him most of the 19 season, and he's really done well to come back from that. He squats 315 pounds. When he's not playing football, Haney plays basketball, runs track for the school. During his free time, Haney enjoys working out and chilling out with his friends. We've got one more player to mention, and we got just one punter on this team right now, second team all Louisiana North team. It's going to be the last player we talk about, and he's a very special kid. And that's punter Caleb Phillips from Ruston High School. And really, you know what? Caleb's a first-team player. When we redo this thing at the end, he's going to be on our first team. But we're putting him on the second team right now to mention him because he wasn't on the preseason first team. But he's also a kicker for Ruston. He's been a 3-year starter for Ruston. He's 6'3", 188, 190. He's got a boom leg, man. When it comes out of off his foot, it's like it's out of a machine. He's a he's a 4-year starter, which is very rare in 5A ball, especially at Ruston High School. He has great hang time. He's not rattled at all as a punter. As a kicker, the same thing. Consistency. And he's also a pretty good soccer player for the school. He runs a 4.9 40, which is not bad for a punter. He's one of the best punter kickers in the state of Louisiana. He likes Kansas, Louisiana Tech, Baylor, LSU, and Arkansas. In the weight room, he benches about 200, which is really good for a kicker. He squats 365. And when not playing football, Phillips also loves soccer, which helps him even more as a punter and a kicker. I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. I really do like doing this to help promote these kids. You can read about these kids on the internet, but we go more in depth on the podcast like we're doing today. And this is not for everybody, but I think the parents of these kids, the coaches in the schools, and recruiting fanatics should enjoy this show. And this is coming all from my heart. This is not what people told me. This is me watching these kids play over the last, like I said in the beginning of the show, the last 3 or 4 years, some of them 5 years. From Class 1A schools all the way to 5A schools. Some of them are going to be from MAIS schools, which is 8-man football in the state. And I hope, again, everybody's having a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. We've got a great guest tomorrow, Drew Leger, the star quarterback for Vermillion Catholic, which has got a chance to win a state championship this year. We're going to talk to this young man, Drew Leger, tomorrow from Vermillion Catholic. We're going to talk about college football, what happened over the weekend with LSU Arkansas, and much more. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, Sports Calendar Report podcast fans. Enjoyed today's show? Well, make sure to check out this past Friday's show in which Lee breaks down the second team on North Louisiana offensive team selections. While our second team offensive and defensive teams have now been broken down on the podcast, you can see the complete second and third all North Louisiana list on our website at www.lafootballmagazine.com. Finally, to get ready for the playoffs, make sure to order our preseason North and South Louisiana magazine editions on our website, which is lafootballmagazine.com, to find out more information on every team in the playoffs. Once again, thanks for listening to the podcast, and make sure to check back with us tomorrow. Thanks, and have yourself a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brackeen.